Most people don't even like themselves, so how can you expect them to like you? We go through these people pleasing tendencies, trying to impress other people, and we actually end up disliking ourselves. Today, we're going to speak about what people pleasing is, why we do it, how it destroys your self esteem, but actually how we can fix it as well. So, people pleasing is basically thinking that if we are kind enough, if we're agreeable enough and quiet enough, that people are going to like us. That if we are polite and we're helpful and we're just a bit bland and don't challenge anyone's behaviours, that we will be loved and feel appreciated. But what actually happens is we get totally disconnected from ourselves and we end up not even liking the person that we are. The thing to think about when it comes to people pleasing is that everyone's going to have their own perception of you and nobody's going to view you in the same way. The way people perceive you is based on people's life experiences, their mood, what's happened to them that day, what's happened to them that week, or just their expectations of people in general. And you need to understand that not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. You could be the sweetest peach on the tree, but some people just don't like peaches. And the reality is that we could bend over backwards for people and they still don't appreciate it. So why do we put ourselves in these positions? We destroy the person that we are and we dismiss our own values, our own beliefs and our own boundaries just to try and impress other people. You need to understand that people aren't going to like you, and it's not that you're not doing anything wrong. It's that it's just reality. There will be people in your life that you don't like, and sometimes you can't even put your finger on it. But if you're constantly trying to meet everyone's standards, you're going to end up diluting who you are as a person. People pleasing puts all of our wants and our needs on the back burner, and we end up putting other people on a pedestal, and we put their wants, their needs and their boundaries above our own, and we end up molding ourselves into a different person to fit our surroundings. So people pleasing is the fastest way to lower your self-esteem, and I'm going to tell you why. Constantly trying to impress other people is exhausting. When you're constantly evaluating how you are performing or what you're saying or if you're aligning with that person, it drains you. When you're constantly self-monitoring and being like, oh, did I make sure I said that? Or, oh, I better not say this in case they don't like it. It's time consuming and it takes up so much of your mental space. And you also end up hiding who you truly are because you're just trying to change your thoughts, beliefs, your patterns, your boundaries to fit in with other people. And you end up not even really knowing what you want for yourself anymore. If you think about it, you don't like every single person that you meet either, and that is okay. And you don't beat yourself up about it because it's all right that you don't get on with everyone. It would be a horrible and boring place that we live in if everyone had the same interests and the same thoughts. If there was nowhere to challenge, then the world would be a boring place if we were all just the exact same robot. But when you're people pleasing, you begin to lose yourself. Because when you start thinking about what other people want from you, whether that's what you're interested in, if you wanted to be interested in the same things, your values, your beliefs, your hobbies, how you want to spend your time, if you're constantly trying to meet the demands of other people and meet them where they're at, you end up losing what you value because you don't actually know what it is anymore. You end up adapting your personality, your speech, and your interest to seem appealing to other people. But what you'll realize is that that's not going to fit everyone. And you're going to constantly have to change and adapt and become this chameleon that performs for other people. And then you end up coming home at the end of the day and you feel lost and you're unsure of yourself because you've not been your authentic self all day and you've been putting on a facade and you've been putting on a mask to fit in. And then when you come home after you've been at an event or you've spent time with people that are meant to be your friends, you feel lonely. You feel like nobody knows who you truly are, and that's really sad because there's so many parts of you that are important. There's so many parts of you that are fun and interesting and exciting, but if you're constantly diluting that because you're taking parts from other people to try and meet them where they're at, then you don't actually get to express yourself fully. When you're constantly walking on eggshells, you become bland like a plain piece of paper or a slice of dry bread. In The Hangover 2, Stu's father-in-law refers to him as cho, which is plain white rice. Plain white rice in lukewarm water. So he's basically describing him as someone that's easily digestible. And he says that they feed it to infants and old people because it's easily digestible. And when you become a people pleaser, that's what you are. You are easily digestible to other people because you just let them walk all over you. You let them decide what you're interested in, what food you're going to eat, what clothes you're going to wear, because you just want to impress other people. So you will do anything that you can to meet their expectations. And what you'll realize is when you get to that point and you think, right, I've made it, I've done it, I've done everything that I can, most people still aren't impressed. Most people still aren't pleased. And then you've done all this for what? You've just destroyed your self-confidence and your self-esteem. For what purpose? People pleasing starts off small, so it starts by saying things like you say yes to things you actually want to say no to, or you keep your thoughts and opinions on an important subject to yourself because you're scared of tension, or you're scared of upsetting the group, or scared of conflict. But you do end up feeling alone because you realise that nobody actually knows who you are, and nobody knows what you stand for and what your values are, because you're constantly changing and adapting them to fit with other people. And then you become really unsure of yourself because you start to question whether you know what your values are, whether you know what you stand for, what your beliefs are. You might not even know what you're interested in anymore because you adapt yourself. Like if you're with a group of friends that like to go out partying, right, well, I'm the party girl now, and that's the aesthetic that I need to present, and I need to present this person that's loud and outgoing and bubbly and wants to party all the time and stay up until 6 a.m. when you could want to just be in bed by 9 o'clock with a book. But because of your people-pleasing tendencies, you've ended up in situations where you don't fit in and you don't want to be. Or if people like to go hiking at the weekend and you're a people pleaser, so yeah, I'll come for the hike. And you couldn't think of anything worse than going out on a hike. You don't like being outdoors, or you don't like physical exercise. But because of your people pleasing tendencies, you're standing at the top of a hill on a fucking Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Complete opposite of how you would want to spend your day. And it's because you can't say no or set boundaries and say to people, no, I don't want to do that. And you also end up not having an opinion on anything. Because you're self-criticizing, you don't want to have an opinion on things, because what if it's the wrong opinion? And what if people disagree with me? And then what if they don't like me because we don't have the same opinion on something? And what if they then start to exclude me from the group? And it, blah, 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 blah. It just spirals. And then you end up feeling alone. Regardless, you feel alone if they outcast you, or you feel alone if you're people pleasing, because nobody knows who you are anyway. And I think you need to understand that people pleasing comes from a place of fear. It's a fear of being excluded from the group. It's a fear of being disconnected from people. It's a fear of failure. It's a fear of rejection. It's a fear of discomfort. And it's a fear-based action. We act in our people pleasing tendencies out of fear. But what are you really scared of? Not fitting in with a group of people that you're not meant to fit in with anyway? When we people please, we let ourselves down and we abandon ourselves. And at the end of the day, it lowers our self-worth, because we end up not really knowing who we are. And that's a really shit place to be. You need to understand that you are a cup of tea. And some people like coffee. And it doesn't matter what you do without changing your whole makeup of who you are, you're never going to be that cup of coffee. So instead of trying to be a cup of coffee, you need to surround yourself with people that like tea. Now, the way to stop people pleasing is, first of all, you need to understand that it's okay that people don't like you. It's okay if people don't agree with you. The world is not going to end if people don't like you. You just need to find people who appreciate you for who you are and what you value and what hobbies and interests you have, and not surround yourself with people that don't align with you. Disappointing others is necessary to building your self-worth. Disappointing others so that you can live a life that you want has to be done. There's no if, buts, or coconuts. This is your life and you need to lead it how you want to lead it. You also need to understand that there's a difference between being kind and being a people pleaser. Being kind is being compassionate and being empathetic and understanding and being polite and wanting to show up for people from the goodness of your heart. People pleasing is out of fear, and we're doing it because we're scared of being alone, or we're scared of being rejected, or we're scared of letting people down, when really we just end up letting ourselves down anyway. Most people don't even like themselves, so how can you expect them to like you? Most people will project onto others what they're insecure about in themselves. So when people don't even like themselves, how are you going to meet their expectations when their expectations are not that great anyway? It's not your responsibility to change who you are so that you can be easily absorbed by other people. It's not your responsibility to make people feel comfortable in your presence. It's not your responsibility for how people show up. It is your responsibility to be authentic to yourself. It's your responsibility to show up as your true self. And it's your responsibility to stand firm in your boundaries, stand firm on what you believe in and what your interests are and what your hobbies are. When you show up as your authentic self, you become more interesting. There's more layers to you. Everything's not surface level. People get to know who you are, why you are the way you are, why you think like this, why your opinion is that, why you go to bed at this certain time. Like, people will begin to understand you on a deeper level when you're not covering it all up with all this fake niceties that you do when you're a people pleaser, and you become magnetic to your people. So you've got this overwhelming fear of not being wanted by a group or not being accepted. But when you show up authentically as your true self, your energy becomes magnetic to everyone around you that is interested in the same things as you, that has the same beliefs as you, that supports you in your decisions and supports you in your dreams. When you stop your people pleasing tendencies, all of the people that aren't meant to be in your life will remove themselves. The trash will take itself out. A la poubelle will go. It will all go. And people will come into your life who are meant to be in your life. People who are going to fill up your cup. People who are going to appreciate you and support you and make you feel wanted. And you're not going to have to change any part of yourself for that to happen. You don't have to change yourself to be accepted. You don't have to be a people pleaser to feel valued and to feel worthy, because it actually ends up doing the complete opposite. You are worthy enough as you are. You are enough. You are valuable enough. You are interesting enough to be accepted without having to change who you are as a person. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed that short but sweet episode, and I will see you all next week. Bye.